Hello and welcome everyone to the Founder-Led Podcast, the podcast where we dive into the minds of today's successful entrepreneurs to uncover the strategies, insights, and hard-won lessons that drive real business growth. Today, we're joined by Caroline, who's the founder of Fitz-Roy and Associates, a boutique recruiting consulting firm that specializes in executive search and clinical recruitment for mission-driven healthcare startups. Caroline, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's start off with a bit of a softball question. What's your go-to breakfast item that you use to start the day?
Okay, this is a good one because
What fuels you?
Yes, what fuels me? Well, for the past 6 months, I decided, since I'm really into health and wellness, and I've always been healthy, but I need to follow what these longevity doctors are saying. So I went all in on protein and completely changing my diet. And so now what I used to eat for breakfast is like a smoothie and fruit and that kind of thing. Now what I eat is eggs and spinach.
Well, great. Would love to, dive in now to your founder journey. And it sounds like you've had quite the career arc from corporate experience to now like building your own recruiting practice. So maybe you walk us through what was that story that led to the inception of your recruiting firm, and why did you want to start this boutique recruiting firm?
Yes. So I did start out in corporate recruiting. I worked with some big companies in San Francisco like Schwab and The Gap, and they were at the time like the best places to work, and they were wonderful. But I had this I will say, I was thinking about this. I think I've always had kind of a nonprofit heart. Like I wanted to do something that was meaningful and helping people. And they were great companies, but I didn't feel like the purpose or mission purpose that I wanted. So I quit my job at Schwab and went back to school to get my master's degree because I was interested in health and wellness, and specifically for kids and bringing healthy food into schools. This is a very specific thing, I know. So that really, I think that whole experience just opened up my mind to something else besides a traditional corporate path. And I think now probably recent college graduates are more interested in the entrepreneurship path. But when I graduated, that was the way. And I didn't want that way, but there wasn't really another way. So this startup world opened up another path. And I had the opportunity to do a consulting role at One Medical, which was, if people don't know it, a very successful startup story that it founded by a doctor and acquired by Amazon last year. So I was able to work for them in the early days. And I thought, okay, this is it. This is business, this is entrepreneurship, and they're trying to change the world, in healthcare. So I started then consulting to more of those types of companies, and my business grew organically. So I wouldn't say that I wanted to start a recruiting firm because I saw it as a business you could scale, or I was more interested in how do I get into this work? And now we have a team there's 4 of us. We are all very passionate about healthcare. So I think we have an interest in making changes in the world through recruiting, which kind of gives us, I think, a different approach to the work, I would like to say. So we are recruiting, we are facilitating connections, but we're also really interested in what's happening in the industry.
Yeah, I think
it's a marriage of all those things.
When you think of, a founder choosing to work with you over, say, another recruiting firm that's maybe 5 or 10x larger, what would they get in working with you that they simply can't get elsewhere?
So I'll give you, I guess, both my opinion and the feedback that they've given and testimonials that we have. I think it's because they can sense a commitment to the work. So I think me personally, if we take on a role for a founder, we know that this is critical. We're working on a chief product officer now for an AI healthcare company. And this is the single most important hire they can make. So I think that they get a sense of like, will you commit to me? Are you all in? Are you in my corner? And I think truthfully, like, are you going to work your ass off? And do you have the connections? So I think that they can sense based on what we've done in the past. And I think also the knowledge that we have of the industry, that's why they choose us. So a lot of the feedback that we get is, I felt like we could trust you. I felt like you were in our corner. So that is why I think there are reasons to choose a large firm too. I think oftentimes you don't work with the founder of, it's kind of the same in any industry. A boutique firm, you're working with seasoned experts. Many times in a large firm, you're working with less experienced individuals who will lead the search and maybe a partner overseeing the work. And that's true in law firms, management consulting. So I think it depends on the personality of the founder. You know, certain things are important, like size and brand, and others are interested in like, are you going to work really closely with me? Am I going to get your full attention?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As a founder that, you know, is growing my business right now, a marketing agency, I actually, if I can choose like a partner or a vendor where I can have a more direct relationship with the founder who kind of just like gets it, you know, similar energy, a level of urgency and customer centricity, I do favor that over a larger company. And I've actually like seen the difference that makes where I can work directly with the founder or the founding team that's still, you know, got that energy and that tenacity to make sure that their customers are successful. So that makes a lot of sense. And so, you know, we are noticing there's so many shifts happening in the economic climate today, right? From this focus on profitability to the rise of AI. So yeah, I would love if you can just talk a bit about like some of the key shifts that you are seeing from a hiring perspective and a recruiting perspective, maybe particularly focusing on healthcare, whether it's like physicians or therapists or nurse practitioners or some of the roles that you focus on. How are companies and business models adapting given this like shifting landscape?
Yeah, so I think I'll kind of answer it in two parts. Like one is like, what reaction are we seeing from clinical providers? I think to, not so much to AI, like I think they're embracing that, but maybe to the move towards in-person work. That's like another big movement that's happening. And then the sort of move in recruiting where there's a lot of talk about recruiting can be solved with one prompt. I think the CEO of Perplexity said that recently, like you could write one prompt. And so I think you could write a prompt that will give you a lot of research, but you still need the person. So I'm thinking about recruiting in the same way that online dating is going through a shift, and fitness, like our jobs are human connection facilitators. Yeah. And I think people want more of that. Like, so online dating is moving offline. Fitness is moving into more in-person. So if you're a recruiter like we are, where we're facilitating human connection because we know the founder, because we know the person, and we're almost like matchmaking, that type of work, like you need a human connection, and the recruiters who will be successful are the people who have relationships and someone feels like, you know me, you understand me, I trust you. So I think we can be likened to those industries, that it's going to go more in person. Where I think we will need to shift is like, as a recruiter, that means you have to be in person more, you have to spend more time with people. And then I do think we can shorten the life cycle of a search because we can do research a lot faster, but you still need a human to decipher, okay, you found me every chief product officer in the US. Like, we need to just curate that list, and we need to know. That's where knowing the industry comes in, because the CEO would not hire someone from that company. They only want to hire from the top 10, digital health unicorns, like that kind of like industry knowledge you'll apply. You'll apply what the founder knows, and then you're kind of curating a match. So I don't think that'll go away, but
Yep.
administrative tasks, admin, I think recruiters who recruit for administrative roles could be replaced with AI, because like a customer service person is probably okay to get an AI outreach, but an executive is not. They're never going to do an interview with an AI bot. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
They don't need to, like people who are already that wouldn't be what they do. And then on the provider side in healthcare, there's been a big movement to in-person clinics again, because patients want more in-person care. Like I think telehealth is okay, but we've seen resistance from providers, like doctors, nurses, therapists, that they don't have to, because they're employed in any kind of market. Like, during COVID, any recession, you always need those people.
Yeah.
So they are turning that down. So it's really increased the time to fill a role when a startup is asking someone to come in full-time 5 days a week. The providers are just saying no. So I think that's been surprising, to their business models. So we've been trying to consult them and offer solutions to maybe getting them to work part-time or, give a hybrid schedule. But I think the move to in-person doesn't apply to all types of employees, I guess is what I would say, those two things.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I see it's almost like the pendulum is swinging back, right? During COVID, there was this whole remote movement and people really enjoyed all the time freedom, location freedom they had. And of course, that causes a lot of isolation. And we're seeing that, right, with dating experience, living here in Austin. I just noticed that there's so many more of these events and people coming together and community being built and these social wellness centers. And a lot of it is coming up to foster that human connection. And also co-working, wellness plus co-working. So it's kind of combining the work that we're doing, but also how do we get into our most optimal physiological and physical state? That's usually through connection, conversations, meeting people, taking the ice plunge, whatever it is. But it seems like there's a blending of that happening with workplace, social, wellness, all that sort of thing. So it only makes sense that, these companies are starting to bring their teams together. And that can also be, I'm seeing a galvanizing thing as well, where people do, if they want to be mission driven and mission oriented, they want to come together, build faster, move faster, all these sort of things. So that makes sense. So given your experience as a recruiter, what would you say to, founder who's in the earlier stages of building their company? Maybe they don't have a full-time recruiter. They're starting to build out their hiring strategy. What advice would you give them to start building in the right way around, a talent strategy and finding the right people for their teams?
Well, I think that always first, they should use their network. I think a lot of founders can start there. And I say this because a lot of times founders will say, but I haven't tapped my network yet. And my advice always is do that first that because I think that's what you should do. They are well connected, usually funded by a venture firm. But then beyond that, I'll talk about talent strategy for clinical hiring. I think the companies who I have seen who are winning are those who are most flexible with their hiring model, meaning they would hire a physician as a 1099 employee, as a full-time employee, part-time, hybrid, really try to get the best talent and then worry about how they're categorized. And, you do need them for a certain amount of hours, but I think worry about that less and worry about building the face of your company. Because if you are creating a care delivery company, you want the very best providers, and that's of nurses, doctors, therapists. And I would say the very best providers have flexibility. And like, that's how they work. They typically teach, or they run their own practice, or and I think not to be afraid of that either. I think many times they will come and consult with a startup, and then if it goes well, they'll take on more. And I think what I've seen historically is doctors are hard workers. Like, they're used to working like 15-hour days. So for them, if they take on a part-time role, you're probably really getting a full-time person. Like, they're just, not that you should do that. We're not talking about HR, but I'm just saying by nature, they're used to just their day is a 15-hour day. So I think that the more flexible you can be, like, I've seen founders go very rigid one way, saying only full-time, only in person, and those who give some flexibility and hire simply the best talent who's going to work well with their company and build their brand is going to take you further faster.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's really just, understanding what the needs, wants, desires of the talent you're trying to bring into your organization are, and also showcasing your company as helping them build out their mission, make progress on their goals, while also being an enjoyable place to work. Yeah, so I'd love to just kind of like pivot a bit here now and talk a bit about your business and like the operation. So as the founder, the business owner of the recruiting firm, how much time, or how do you think about splitting your time between business development and, client delivery and, building and training the organization?
Yes, this is always a hot topic, I think, for every owner of a business. So I think I will say maybe some mistakes I've made, in terms of trying to do it all the time. When the first few years of the business, I was learning it. I think you need to, there's this saying like, work smarter, not harder. But I do think you need to work hard for a while to understand like what you can carve out. And I also think it takes a little while to understand like, what could I delegate to someone else and still keep my clients happy. I think being in client service, I think it's tough. Like, it's very hard to like have the chef not be like in the restaurant like every day and not be involved in everything. So now I think I'm ready. I mean, it's maybe taken me a little while longer. I'm 10 years in, but I do want to have practice owners. Like, that's my goal for the next 5 years, so that I can really focus on growth. My growth strategy has been very dependent on referrals. And that has worked well, but it won't accelerate you fast enough. So I've learned that too. So I think I am ready for, and I think I've learned enough and done enough now. And we have our niche that I feel like, okay, like, and that's just me personally, like where I feel like I could step out a bit more and focus on operations and growth. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sounds just like stepping away from being in the business and focusing on working on the business so you can like scale it up. It sounds like you've also put in a lot of that groundwork, build a core team where, you know, you can kind of enable them, give them more responsibilities. So now you can focus on some of the higher leverage business building activities, right? So what are some of the biggest frustrations right now when it comes to growth? Like what do you feel would happen if you continued status quo instead of kind of up-leveling your responsibilities?
I think if I stayed status quo, that the business would be okay. Like, knock on wood, I feel like our business has always been doing well. Like, I don't think, you know, even in COVID, like we've been like, okay, we've had a good baseline of clients, but I do think you have to keep, and this is something else I have to learn, like, you know, you can have clients for a long time. That's great. But you still need to also be introducing new ones because it's natural to cycle out. And the job of, like, our job is for them not to work with us long term. Like, they want to hire their own recruiting team, and that's the natural cycle. So I think if I don't do anything, the business will just be status quo. But it's not what I want. And I think that I really enjoy now doing some other things. Like I've been able to mentor some recent college grads, and I think it's probably stage of career. Like I really enjoy that. So how can we advise and, sort of bring up this, this generation who's graduating? That's just something that I feel like I want to do in the business because we know so much, and I've been able to advise one-on-one. So I think like that will allow us to do some of those things if I hire more people and build more capacity, and it will make our revenue increase. Yeah.
So paint that picture for me, looking ahead 12 to 18 months, you're thinking of this like, kind of grand slam outcome, 12 to 18 months from now. What does that predictable growth and, scale look like for you? Is it like more clients, larger retainers, longer working arrangements? Sounds like there's a lot of this like helping the younger generation like upskill around job placement and these sort of things. So yeah, just paint a picture for me on what that vision looks like for the future.
So I have been working on this for the first part of the year, and what it looks like is that I would be spending 50% of my time on business development. I have never done that. So I think what I've calculated is that we will at least grow by 50% a year if I even spend like 50% of my time. So that is more clients. I think we will still stay niche and early stage startups in care delivery because that's like the problem we want to solve. And then I think on the team side that I would hire like 4 to 5 more people. We would like to be a larger boutique firm, but not a very large national firm. So stay boutique, add a few more people to the team. But I think from a revenue perspective, I think that's just my own realization that I'm not really leveraging everything we built. So I'm holding the business back a bit because I'm not like turning on the gas because I'm still too much in the business. So my plan is to really accelerate growth for the next 12 to 18 months and then reevaluate and see how I can keep going.
Okay. And when you think about those, 1 to 2 big levers that you want to pull to accelerate that growth, what do you think those are?
I think is connecting directly with founders. I don't think it's a sales development rep, setting up calls for me. But I've found success when I reach out and make a warm connection. Maybe someone I've looked at someone pulling that for me and doing demand gen for me. But I do think it has to be me. It has to be a direct connection because of the audience we're serving is less likely to, I think, just connect with a person doing sales for us. So I think it involves me investing that time.
Yeah, it sounds like...
So I think that's the single biggest thing I could do.
It sounds like if you could scale yourself and your perspective, your approach, your experience, your wins, in terms of content, getting more of yourself and your perspective out into the world, that might grow your ecosystem, build more trust, grow and also strengthen relationships with the founders that might be following you. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay. And what's kept you from perhaps publishing more or sharing more of all the work that you're doing internally, just kind of getting it out into the world more? What's kind of held you back or kept you from doing that?
I wish I could give you another answer, but I think it's just me. I think that probably it's my desire to have it be perfectly right before it goes out or perfectly validated and also meaningful. Because I think that's just probably goes with our brand and how we approach things. We'll be pretty authentic and honest with people. We'll tell founders when we can't do something or if the answer is not what they want to hear. So I think that, you have to be good at messaging and selling to candidates. But I also think we're just really honest with them. So I think that if I put out something that felt too just I don't know, inauthentic, it wouldn't land. So that's why I thought, okay, this is a good road for us because we want to put out information that's useful and meaningful. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you're reminding me of something I said on that other podcast about like things you wouldn't expect in recruiting. And I was saying that just it's very senior level executives, like what they care about most is like they care about, can I trust the CEO? Can I trust the people I work with? Like, am I going to like them? Like, I just think this translates like across all ages. Like, it doesn't change because you're an executive who's very accomplished. Like, those kind of human elements are what they really care about in the end. Like, and did you treat them well? And did you like take them to lunch? And did you, like all those little like human touches are what they care about. When I think people think otherwise, I don't know why, that they care about different things because they're so successful.
Yeah. So if I were to speak to one of your clients that you've worked with, that you've had like a long-standing, successful working relationship with, and I would ask them, hey, like, what was it about Caroline's team that really set them apart? Like, what would they say to me?
I think they would say, we felt like she was in our corner. We felt like she was a part of our team. And we really trust her. And they found us the best people. Like, and they really took the time to understand us and find us the best and not just try to give us candidates to fill the job. Because that's sort of like against who I am. I can't present the person unless I feel really good. It's not in my being. So I think that that's how my team is too. Like we'll stand behind it and feel like, it doesn't always work out and it's not going to be a hire every time, but we at least need to feel a confidence and conviction about why we're putting this person in front of you.
Yeah, that's good.
So I think it's a lot of care at the end of the day.
So yeah, when you say care, I think that's something that AI can't replicate, right? Like, what are the things that don't scale, that can't be replicated, that are not going to be commoditized? It's a level of human touch and care. And that's really important.
Yeah. And I think you just made me think of that's what all of these founders want, is someone who really cares and like is thinking about it, cares about it, like so, and there's a distinction, for sure. Like, and you can feel it. I think you can more feel it. So that's what they want all the time, is someone who really cares. So I feel like, again, not everything's perfect, but we try to like suss that out, in their behavior.
Yeah. And if you were to give a founder who's maybe trying to recruit a high-level healthcare executive who's very much in demand, but is really going to be a game changer for the trajectory of their company, what are some tips you would give them for that candidate experience they can help deliver?
I think the most successful founders spend time. I am always incredibly impressed with one because he demands that the person come and have coffee and go for a walk, and will do that several times. And I think many times, just because of the nature of a founder's schedule, they don't have time to do that. They don't want to do that. And this builds so much like connection and trust. And candidates always come away with, well, of course, I know I'd want to work for him. And I'm thinking, like, what is he saying in these interviews? Like, because he's great, but he's very tough and very direct. But I think they appreciate the time and the listening and you really took the time to get to know me. And I get to ask you questions, and this is a back and forth. And it's not like you want to work for me because we're awesome. It's more just like, let's know each other. So that is his way. And I think every single time people walk away and they don't always take the job, but they say they want to work for him, or they want to keep in touch with him, or they want to help him and they're willing to consult. So it goes a long way. I would say giving some extra time.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. Again, simple, but hard.
It's also like, what is the highest leverage thing a founder can do with their time? right? They focus on
Yes.
what can only they do, which is hiring, strategy, money in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those like what else
Mm-hmm.
are their core responsibilities? So, and hiring is like right up there. So it sounds like that is the highest leverage use of their time. So why not just spend a bit more time if it makes that much of a difference?
Yeah. And again, I'll say it's hard, but the
Yeah.
ones who do put it at the center, like this founder, he will also meet with people on the weekend because he knows that
Mm.
executives are so busy during the week that they're going to get them at their best on the weekend.
Does it mean like above and beyond and like seeing like, all right, are they an active person? Should I propose a hike? Are they more of a coffee person? Or
Um,
is it really just like proposing making more time?
Proposing making more time. I do think I've had some who've gone to the way of meet me for a workout. And I
Okay.
think, I don't know. I think, s- it's a hard one if you don't really know someone. So I think just simply let's go for a walk, let's have coffee, um, works. And that
Yeah.
works for everyone. It's not a drink, it's not a workout, it's something active. You're not in an interview setting, but a walk is kind of perfect.
Yeah. I love that, especially if it's in, California, the weather's always great.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we have that going for us.
Okay, great. Well, Caroline, as we start to wrap it up, are there any, messages that you want to share with our audience of, again, founders, business owners, CEOs as they embark on growing their companies and making key hires?
Any other pieces of advice? I think it's time and flexibility. So I think that if you find the right recruiting partner, whoever that is, I think maybe strong opinions loosely held is the advice because I think you'll go into it with a certain set of expectations, but being willing to gather data, learn, and change. Like it doesn't mean compromising quality, but I think investing time and being willing to be flexible in your thinking.
Okay, great. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
You can find me on LinkedIn, and that's probably the easiest way. If I gave you my full name, which is Fitz-Roy, it's like difficult to get to, but you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yep. And we'll include all of that information in the show notes as well. So, Caroline, this has been really helpful. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah, thank you. This is great. I appreciate it.